Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening. It's October the 3rd, I think. Yeah. The time is going by so fast. You've reached Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, along with my co-host,
Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Good evening, everyone.
I like your hair, Rhonda. It's cute.
Oh,
It's cute. I really like it.
Every other week.
Yeah, I know. So we have a video to show you, and then we're going to have a couple of announcements, and then we'll get right into the show. So here's our video. It's our new project that we just started.
Introducing the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Box. This monthly subscription provides African American books for children of all ages and features books that have been reviewed by a panel of book industry professionals. When you subscribe, in the first package, you'll receive your book box, your children's size Black Authors Matter t-shirt, and 3 paperbacks you'll select from the digital monthly circular you'll receive. After that, every month, you'll be able to select 2 paperbacks or 1 hardcover book of your choice. Whether you're a parent, relative, or educator, the subscription will provide your children with hours of education and enjoyment. Start your subscription today by visiting BlackAuthorsMatterBookBox.com.
So for those who haven't seen the video, that's a new initiative that we recently started. And if you know of any children that could benefit from getting books every month, and there's a wide selection of books that they can get, that's available to them, it will make a great Christmas gift or birthday gift, or just because. So go on the website and take a look at the books and start your subscription. Now we have our first guest is supposed to be on tonight. And so I'm going to go off camera for a minute and contact the publicist, because everything was all set, but we don't see her in the waiting room. So I will be right back. And Rhonda is going to talk a little bit about the upcoming book festival that's imminent. Is in 3 weeks. So she's going to talk a little bit about that, and I'll be right back.
All right, everybody. I hope everybody's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I really do hope I see you in Houston this week. This month, not this week, this month. Don't go too soon. But I'm looking forward to going, because I'll be interviewing a number of authors, including Kwame Alexander, and I'm really looking forward to talking with. And let me see, she surprised me, so I need to make sure that I go on here and look at the other people that I'll be interviewing. But if you've not been to the National Black Book Festival, it is an amazing event. We're going to have over 100 authors there. Okay, here we go. Now we're also going to be interviewing Elena. I've been knowing her for so many years, ever since her first book, Every Woman Needs a Wife, which is a great book and is not what you think it is. So you need to make sure that you check that book out. That was, like, I believe, her first book, and then she's just been on and popping ever since. And she has a really thriving writers community where they support each other, they help each other to grow, help each other to become bestsellers. So we'll be talking a bit about that. We'll also be talking with Daphne Maxwell Reed. If you do not know that name, you know her. Believe me, she was the mother on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We've had her on the show a couple of times, so I'm looking forward to talking with her again. I believe this is going to be my first time actually interviewing her in person, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we're also going to have Donna Hill, best-selling author, has oodles and oodles of books. She always has a lot of great information to share. And then Deneen Milner, who I'm really looking forward to interviewing as well, because she has done so much in the writers community. You know, her books have been made into films. She is very supportive of other authors, so I'm looking forward to talking with her as well and to seeing what she's up to. So hopefully I'm going to see all of you guys in Houston. I'm going to be bringing my books, of course, and I'll be talking about some of my writers courses that I have. For those of you who have not heard about my courses, I offer editing workshops. I offer courses on the art of writing, you know, for instance, character development, plot development. And so I'll be talking a bit about that as well. And I'll be doing my drawing again. Last year, I did the business card drawing, and the winner received the $1,500 package to promote their book, which included a press release, it included a one sheet, a bio update, and a few other prizes. So you have to be there in order to enter this contest. So I hope I will see you guys there. Make sure you bring your business cards, because this is all about networking. I'll tell you, I met some great authors. Many of them have been on the show since last year. I've worked with a number of the authors since last year. So that's what networking is all about. And I'll tell you, I just enjoy the tables. Some of these authors really come with it. They decorate their tables so well, with lights and candy and flowers. And they also have the table toppers where you can scan the QR code to pay for your books. They've really come a long way since I started being an author, and social media really wasn't a thing when I first became an author. So I just really commend people who have been able to take social media and just build on it and build their platforms with it. Hey, Tony Benita. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Janice. Lydia. Who else is on here? Curtis. Our regular folks. We appreciate you guys coming on every week and supporting this show and helping this show to grow. That's what this is all about. So Gwen hasn't gotten back yet. I hope she's not having an issue with getting in touch with our first guest. But in the meantime, if anybody has questions that they'd like to post in the chat, we can just post some questions. We can answer some questions and just have a discussion until Gwen gets back. By the way, going back to the Houston, the National Black Book Festival in Houston, it is free to attend. And and we're happy to have you back. But it is free to attend. And there's not a whole lot of places where you're going to be able to go for free and not only go meet authors face to face, but actually sit in on a lot of valuable sessions that will help you with your writing journey and your book promotion journey. All of this is free. We just want you there to support the authors and to, like I said, network. That's what this is all about. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. All you have to do is just get to Houston. And I know a lot of you guys are already in Texas, so it shouldn't take you long to get there. So just wanted to throw that out there. But like I said, if anybody has any questions, concerns, maybe you have a book and you would like us to know what your book is, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll give you a shout out. And Gwen is back. So now
I am back. However,
that however.
Yeah, however, the guest that we had scheduled her previously and she had to cancel at the last minute. So her publicist contacted me an hour ago and said everything was set, and then something has happened. So what I'm going to do, one thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the festival. We do have her book that she has that I thought would be an interesting discussion book, but it's called The 272, And the subhead is the families who were enslaved and sold to build the American Catholic Church. And it's all about Georgetown University, which I went to. That's my alma mater. And so I thought it would be really great to have on the show. But what we'll do is we'll give away the book, because they did send us the book to give away. And then we will talk about our upcoming event and answer any questions you all have about that until our 7:30 slot with Elena and Neely. So here's the trivia question for this book. And it sounded like a really interesting book, but we won't be rescheduling her again. So the trivia for tonight is, the name of the book is The 272. It's by Rachel Swan. And the trivia is about the book. And this is a book. This is a hardcover book. It's not an advanced reading copy. So what is the last name of the family who is at the center of this story in this book, The 272? If you answer first with the last name of the family that's at the center of the story, you get the copy of the book sent to you. And
Curtis,
we'll just wait to see who answers.
Curtis.
And Curtis answered. Curtis is quick.
Very quick. Okay, Mahoney.
Yeah, it's Mahoney. Well, Curtis, you win again. You are on it. That's exciting, because you're one. We don't have a lot of male viewers that are on every single week. We have, we have.
He is giving Mary,
but between him and Mary,
a run for their money. Those
he
people.
is, and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So Curtis, you answered correctly. The name of the family is the Mahoney family, and you will get your copy of the book. So before we talk about the festival, I would like to just mention, I have mentioned to you all that I was working on the sequel to my first book, my first novel, not my first book, because I have multiple books, but I only had one work of fiction, and that was the Genesis Files. And that came out 10 years ago. Well, I've been working on this sequel. The sequel will be out within 2 weeks. It's right now. I have a proof that I've ordered from Amazon KDP, just to make sure that it's, you have to look at the print version of your book. Even if you're only doing an ebook, you really should look at the print version. Mm-hmm. Because that will really tell you how the book is going to look to other people who get it on the receiving end. But I get my proofs tomorrow, and then I'll be able to pull the trigger. If I have to make any changes, I can make them myself, because that's what I do. I do my own upload.
Well, that's the good thing about planning, and I learned that the hard way. The first time I published a book on KDP, my release day was the day that it went live. I didn't give myself any buildup. I didn't get a chance to look at the proof prior to it.
Oh, okay.
Those are lessons that I learned about planning. Just because that was the day you uploaded it to KDP does not mean that has to be the day that the book is live.
Right.
Maybe you want to set up pre-sales. Maybe you want to take time, like Gwen said, to inspect the book and make sure that everything looks right. So I'm glad that you brought that up. That's something that I think every author should know.
Well, that's true. And I have a really good copy editor. She's very meticulous. So after I go through and do the edits that she has, then I do the formatting. And what I do with my formatting, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, is I take a previous book that I've already formatted, and I just drop the new book into that book.
Makes sense. And
then I don't have to worry about the pagination and their name coming off on one side and the book on the other side and the page numbering. So I do that. I just move. I save it as the new title. I drop the new book in there. It has to you still have to do page by page and all that. But the formatting, because it can be tricky. That book formatting on Word can be tricky. And so that's what I do. But I'm really excited about the new release. It's called Exodus from Treachery. So what I did was I took the first book is the Genesis Files. And for those of you who know the Bible, the second book of the Bible is Exodus. So I'm calling this the Genesis series. And so I have a title for book 3, but I don't have a story at all. So I don't know how long it'll take me to do it, but I'm very excited. I found it, this is a lot longer than, actually longer than the Genesis Files is. The longest book I've ever written it was 70,000 words. I had never, and I think the Genesis Files was more like 50. So it's longer, but it's a really good story, if I should say so myself. So anyway, I'll have my books at the festival, as well as it'll be available. It should be available on Amazon in 10 days or so, something like that. So I'm excited about that. And last night we had a webinar with all of the author vendors that are going to be at the festival. This is our first time doing that. And so we did it because there's always a lot of questions, and that way we can answer all the questions at one time. And then so the managers were on too, Mary, Pam, Shenitha, Brenda, they were all on the Zoom webinar. And we had about 50 of the authors on. So yeah, they were able to get their questions answered, and we're going to continue to do that for the future.
Just be careful, because those other 50 gonna have questions.
Well, it's better than 100 having questions. And you know, you can answer people's questions, and it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. So they still will ask you the same question you answered before, but at least they have a lay of the land. They know what to expect. They know what's supposed to happen. And we also talk to them about the importance of their promoting it on their own social media platforms, and not just expecting, because the people are going to be coming for the whole event and to see the featured authors and to see the people, but not their people. They have people on their social media platforms, and they need to invite them, tell them they're going to be here in Houston, and invite them to come. So we talked about that as well. So the festival is coming up. It's in a little bit more than 3 weeks. It comes up really quickly. You know, that year rolls around really fast. But this is going to be a great year, and we're very excited about just the whole event rolling around again. Last year was a little because we had 2 years without the event, and then COVID interrupted it. We had the virtual, and last year was the first year people were back. We had so many people because there were some holdovers, and it was really packed. We don't have quite as many this time, which is a good thing, because I think we were a little bit too packed last year to me. And we're changing our layout a little bit, so you'll see that, and we're excited about that. So some people saying congrats on my new book. I'm very excited. My covers I've been getting some really good compliments about my cover. So the Exodus from Treachery is really like just as a man sitting in the chair. You can't see his face, but it's about being powerful. And then I rebranded my Genesis Files cover so they can complement each other, because since I'm releasing the sequel to the first book, I wanted the covers to complement each other. And so I found a graphic designer on Freelancer. I've used Fiverr, but I find Freelancer has a little bit better quality people, or to me. And my last 2 were on Freelancer, and he was in the Ukraine. I don't know if he was in the part where, you know, it's at war, but he was Ukrainian, and he gave me a great price for both covers. So he did a good job and got it done fast, you know, within a week. We had the whole thing, both of them done. And so that was really great. So does anybody have, before we bring on our next guest, oh, can you share the cover with us? Someone would ask that if I could figure out how to share it. I don't share it. I don't screen share.
Well, all you have, I mean, if you
Okay, so what do I have to do to make it happen?
if you pull, do you have it pulled up on your computer, or do you have it somewhere on your computer?
Yeah, it's on my computer.
Okay, so pull it up on your computer, and then where it says share screen at the bottom, you just click on that.
Okay, let me see. So just open it. Okay, let me see if this will work. Here. Okay, so I have it pulled up.
Okay, now click share screen.
Okay, let me get back to Zoom. Share screen. Okay.
Okay, now
This is it here.
okay, there you go.
So then I hit share.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the cover. Yeah, that's the cover. My signature
Nice
thing
cover.
that I do for all of my books is I have my name at the top like that. And then I'll have the title at the bottom. So that's
cover.
So yeah, I thought he did a great job. And so now I need to show you the cover of the Genesis Files. That was the first book that he redid it. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know. Because I think I saved it on, when you work on different computers, sometimes you don't have everything on. Okay, this is the Genesis Files. So he redid my Genesis Files book, and I'll show you the first one. Hopefully I can show it. I don't know, I'm gonna get mixed up. This was the first Genesis Files. Can you see that, Rhonda?
No, no, I think we're still seeing Exodus from Treachery right now.
Okay, so how do I get out of that? And
yes.
Do I just close it?
To close it out and then open it back up again with the new file.
Okay.
No. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So. Okay. Screen sharing has stopped. Okay. So here is the Genesis Files. Can you see that?
No, you haven't stopped sharing it.
I have to go back and share again. Okay. What is it? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, this is the new Genesis Files cover. So this is my main character. So he made them kind of similar. And so now I want to show you the old Genesis Files cover. So you see how he redid it. So let me see if I can get that done too. Okay. And then let me go back over here. Okay. I hope I'm not messing up anything. Because I'm trying to figure out how to share stuff. Okay. I think this is it here. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
That's the old cover.
Yeah, I like the new cover.
Yeah, the new one is more modern. That was my first time doing a novel. And so I just wanted something basic. So anyway, I'm excited about finally finishing, because I started with when NaNoWriMo 2 years ago, not last November, the November before. That was when. So I've been 2 years. I've been toiling in the vineyards trying to finish my book, and so I'm excited about it. I think it's a great story, and I would love to hear the feedback from people who read it. So, okay. All right, so I'm looking at some of the comments. Well, thank you, Janice and Barbara and Curtis and Tony Benita. Thank you so much. So our 7:30 guest, 8:30 for those who are on the East Coast, she is on. So we're going to go ahead and bring her on a little early since the first guest wasn't with us tonight. And Curtis, congratulations again on winning your copy of the book, the 272. So our next guest is Elena Neely, and she is a children's author. She is going, and she has on her t-shirt, her Black Authors Matter t-shirt, and she is going to be at the National Black Book Festival. So we'll get to meet her in person there. But for now, she's on Black Authors Matter TV to tell us about her book. And I think she has more than one. So welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you, Ms. Gwen, and good evening, Dr. Rhonda.
Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So tell us about what motivated you to start writing the books that you've written.
Well, thank you so much. I can't even tell you how long it was that I dreamed of being a children's book author, not an author, but a children's book author, because not only did I find a love of reading, but more than anything, I had a daughter and she loved books and we loved books together. And we spent a lot of time as a family involved in books. So there was always this desire to find certain books that I hadn't seen before. And so I said, I want to write children's books. So for a long time I did. And finally, after I got my daughter off to college, I had an opportunity to start writing.
Okay, I was going to ask you how old was your daughter now?
Yeah, she's
and I can relate
23
to that.
now.
Okay.
Started writing as soon as she left.
Okay, I can relate because when they're young, it's hard to do a lot of things.
I tell people all the time that I started writing regularly when my daughter was still very young, but I could not write until she was in bed. So often by the time I got her into bed, got myself together, it would be after 9 o'clock before I could write. And then I would try to write until maybe 11 or 12. And then I had to be right back up to go to work the next morning. So I feel your pain. And it might have been a good thing that you waited until she was older. So you have
Exactly. Exactly. But it's been a joy to get a chance to get that part of me out.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I thought your daughter was still young, because I hear from a lot of parents now with young children that their children are on devices so much that they were having challenges getting them to read books. And so I was going to ask you how you address that, but she's 23, so I can't.
She is still a digital native though.
Okay.
Still a digital native, but I had a belief in reading. And that is kind of the concept behind the business of Blessings for Living. And it's not just the books and what they entail, it's the time parents have reading the kids' books. So my books are really not just for kids, but it's really for parents to read the kids and to be able to impart to them things that are going to help their lives, but they're entertaining at the same time. So I would love to tell you that it was written to try to get kids out of the actual phone, because my daughter did get into the phone and she spent a lot of time on the phone. However, we made time for reading time.
Okay.
That's wonderful. That, when you put that into a child when they're still young, even if they do start doing the phones and the video games or whatever else, they're always going to come back.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, they need to be exposed to books early on. And it can be a digital book, but a physical book, the tactile experience is different.
Nothing like it.
nothing like holding a book
turning
in
the
your hand and
page.
turning the pages and talking about it and sharing it. It's not as easy to do. And parents, they'll say, oh, I can't get them off of there, whatever. But okay, you paid for the device. That's one thing. You pay. They wouldn't have it if you didn't pay for it. And so you have to make that, you can't be scared of your children. You can't.
I will say that there
Mhm.
is a way to meet them in the middle. What I found when my daughter was younger and she was into YouTube
Right.
and everything else,
Mhm.
she also told me, and I found out that kids are still using it. She told me about this thing called Wattpad. So they were
Oh.
reading, but they were reading in smaller chunks online. So people were still able to write and they were able to read, but they were still getting that digital fix. So there is a way to meet kids halfway. Because it's right now in this day and age, it's really hard to tear people away from social media, even as adults. It's
Yeah,
hard to pull us away from social media because if I say I don't want to do social media for the week, I'm like, shoot, I still got to promote my business, still got to promote my book.
right,
I still
right.
I still have to get in touch with certain people. So, it's harder to pull away from it. So if you're able to meet them halfway and use something like a Wattpad or Kindle Vella is another one, then it's still giving them the opportunity to read.
Absolutely. And I'll just add that we love taking trips to the library to get books. We
Yeah.
had a little
that.
a bag, and it was like it was time to go, and she could pick 5 books, and she had
Okay.
a good time finding those 5 books, and we turn it over at least every 2 weeks. We'd go back. But she enjoyed that time again that we spent together, but also that she dwelled in it. And I believe it makes a difference in a kid's overall life.
I agree.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Because if they grow up exposed to books and seeing you reading or the parent reading, then it's going to always be there.
Mhm.
I saw my mother read. My mother was always reading. She would, at the end of the day, after dinner, and when she had her wind down time at the end of the day, she was always reading a book. The TV might be on, but she was focused on, it was like background noise. And that's what I do. The TV might be on, but if I'm into a book, I don't even hear what's going on the TV. I can totally block it out.
Just like you said, it just becomes white noise just to have
Right,
something in the room, but you're
right.
paying attention to it.
Right. And one thing I really, on my cruise that I went on for 10 days, where you really, you can't do a lot of stuff online. We had the package, but it's still kind of iffy. But I read 400-page books while I
Wow,
was on that cruise.
beautiful.
Between going and coming back, I read 3, and they were all of them were good too. So that was helpful because I didn't take my laptop to try to write while I was on there because I didn't, that wasn't going to be a good environment for me to try to finish up my book. I still had about, when I got back, so I got back on the 31st of August, and I still had about 10,000 words to write. And I was able to do that. And I had my copy editor, I was giving her pieces. I gave her the bulk of it before I left, what I had done, which was 8%. And then, but she worked with me on doing, finishing and doing it in piecemeal. So anyway, it's a good idea to just make sure your children have a love for reading, because
Amen.
the what's on social media, okay, it's entertaining, but it's not, it's kind of mind numbing. It doesn't stimulate. It really is like a fix almost.
Yeah.
Especially these short reels, the TikTok and all of that. It's really like a fix. And you can really, you can literally go on there. And I know I'm not the only one I'm not on there much. But if I click a video and then they'll start the algorithm will show you other videos that are similar. And you can literally sit there for hours. If I
Yeah.
don't, because I don't have the hours and I don't want to, but
Yes.
it's very addictive.
It is very distracting. And
Yeah.
when you think
Yeah.
about the biggest threat to the world right now, it's our distraction. And we have to stay focused. If you talk to some of the most successful people in the world, they'll tell you they have a day and they have a times that they do certain things, and most of them won't get just, caught up in the social media. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that it is a distraction. And so I like books because it takes you somewhere. And like your books, they take you somewhere else and they engage you. And that's the goal of any writer, is to engage their audience. So that's the book that I highlighted for this particular conversation. It's about my daughter, a girl named Amaya, who reached inside herself and found her strength.
Now,
Okay, so is that the book beside you there?
Yes.
And
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Do you? I love books like this where you can take topics and help the kids to inspire the kids. How do you? And I love asking authors this question. How do you take such a subject and put it in terms to where a child can not only understand it but be inspired by it?
You really hit something there, because I constantly fight with it. How do I tell a very sophisticated concept and make it plain for a child?
Right.
And my company is called Blessings for Living. And that is it's a publishing company, but primarily it's about blessing, the word. When you share life's greatest lessons, you become a blessing. And so how do you share these more sophisticated topics about love, about being a friend, about being brave in such a way? Well, I learned to do rhymes quite a bit, but you just learn to understand what audience you're reading to and who else might be reading the book, like the parent to the child. And then you communicate it. Every sophisticated concept can be narrowed down to some basic conversations. And in the case of Amaya, they were her real life situations. Amaya's dad passed away when she was 9 years old.
Oh,
And
now is that your daughter's name?
Amaya.
Okay, so you literally named the book after your daughter.
Yeah, a girl
So
named.
you didn't have like a concept of a person similar to your daughter.
Yeah.
You took her
and then you just figure out what she went through, and it was in the book that I explained that it was one day after a year after her dad died. She didn't ever want to talk about it, but after a year we were at his gravesite and we were, doing what we normally do, shining up his stone. And she said, "Mommy, I just wish I had known." And so it's an opportunity at that moment. She could have let this whole thing tear her apart, tear her insides out. But in that moment, she spoke up and said, "I just wish I had known." And I just told her, I didn't know either. How could I know? Only God knew when his time was going to be up. But he never left us. And you could literally see her take a deep breath. And she reached inside herself and found strength to keep going. And I never could communicate what that was when I'd see it happen in her. But there are definite times where she took a gulp, and it's like she reached inside herself and found her strength. So I thought of about 6 or 7 of these moments in her life, and I just communicated them out.
Okay.
With the help of a beautiful illustrator, we were able to get this book done, and everybody who has read it has been encouraged. And in fact, I have a friend who has used it in a book. She does a summer book program for young girls, and she has actually shared that book, and they study through the book and they go through the situations. And I am certain that kids will find themselves in the book, the different things that happen.
How did you find that the young kids who were able to experience the book through this program, how did you find that that they responded to the story?
Because probably empathy. One of the situations where Amaya found a situation was when she grew up in a suburb neighborhood, and there's a lot of different people that didn't look like her.
Right.
And their hair was different and who they were different. And every time I get into a situation where I was like, how am I going to handle this situation? I pause and I pray, Lord, help me, give me the words. And she had come home. She said, why is my hair like other people? And I know what she was getting at. Why is she different? And I said, Lord, help me. And the thing that came to me is I said, Yamaya, just imagine a field of white flowers and there was only one pink one. Which one would you want to be? She quickly said the pink one. And I said, honey, you are. You are the pink one. So there is value in being different. There is beauty in being different. And you could see her in that moment, take that gulp and say, okay, I'm going to reach inside myself and keep stepping forward with a little pride. But the people who I've had the experience of sharing the book with and seeing themselves, they recognize moments where they have the same situation. And based on their age, I had a group that was a little bit older and they were facing college. And there's a situation where Amaya had to do some hard things to get herself ready for college, but she literally had that exciting moment when you get accepted to college and you realize all the hard work finally paid off. And so to see somebody else achieve, which is all of us, we see other people achieve, we are inspired to take those steps to get there as well.
So where is she in school?
Well, she has since graduated, but she did get into Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And she, at that point, started to go into finance. And to her credit and hard work, she landed a job right out of college with a big private equity firm in New York. She now lives in New York. And that's the beauty of the cover is all about New York and California. You can't really tell, but it's a New York.
Put it closer to you.
Okay.
No, it's the brightness.
Is it the light? Is it the light?
Maybe the light.
Okay.
It may be the light, but back there you can see there's remnants of a palm tree, but the Statue of Liberty. You know what I mean? So it gives you the feel of both California and New York, because that's where her journey and all those moments happen, is through one side of the coast to the other side of the coast. So when we're talking about your cover, I was thinking to myself, the cover design is always exciting.
To get people to pick up the book, it has to be attractive.
Yeah, but you already have a title, you're kind of, and then you get the book made, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of fun. It's a fun part of being.
I don't know where Exodus from Treachery came from, but because I didn't have a total story, I just had like a remnant. But I wanted to use the word Exodus, and then so I had to figure out a way to use that. And for book 3, I have a title, but I don't have a story at all. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a book 3. I hope to, but it just depends. It's a lot. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of words because you have to tell the story, and you have to end. It has to make sense. It has to flow. Right. Now you have the publishing company, so do you publish other people's books?
I have, and it's my focus to focus on those that enrich and entertain and uplift others. And so one of the authors I published, she wrote a book about a special needs child. And it's a story of a real life young man, because she's a teacher in special needs. And it's really all about him wanting to be seen. It's called Hey, Will You Help Me? And it's a story about a little boy who just really wants to achieve just like everyone else. And it really just takes someone to see that desire. And he has a tight-knit family that does that. But it's a great story about this little boy. And the illustrator for that book happened to be a relative. So it was a really great coming together of a family to actually put this book together. And it's really exciting.
Did you use the same illustrator for all 3 books?
In my series, Blessings for Living, I did use a very nice illustrator who his name is Terry Didham, and he's out of Los Angeles. And I met him through a cousin, my cousin. But let me tell you, this guy brought my vision to life. And that's the beauty, right? Of an illustrator, is you give them the rein to do what they do. And he did a most amazing job. And I'm always looking to use new people, because I believe that they too have something to share. And I don't try to give them too much direction. I try to just let them know what I want to see, that the point I'm trying to make, the colors I want to see. And then it's just the greatest thing on earth to let them experience their dream as well.
That's true, because for my new book, what I had in my mind, it wouldn't have worked. And he tried to do something similar, but it didn't look right. And then he said, what if I do this? And then he did it. I said, that's perfect. So what he ended up doing, I didn't even have that idea for it. He did it. Now for the redo on the Genesis files, I knew what I wanted for that, but what I had in my mind didn't work. And then too, I went and looked at other books in the genre, other book covers. I spent some time. I just looked at a whole bunch of different book covers. And I said, most mysteries have one. If they have a person, it's only one person on the cover, if they have a person.
Yeah, but I like the idea of the theme. And the 3-book theme that I did with Blessings for Living, I kept the main title, Blessings for Living, but I gave it a different subtitle. So the first one, Blessings for Living, Planting Seeds of Greatness, Blessings for Living, The Best of Being, and then Blessings for Living, Always Remember and Never Forget. And it's
so what age group are your books for? What's the target?
I would say, I have to say 0, because I again believe parents should read to children, but I'd say 0 to 12.
Okay.
And they can read them and then get something from them, because the books grow with the child, believe it or not. It's a series, but even the visuals on the book, they change with the child, and you almost see the kids grow up. And it's 2 kids on the book. And the other thing about every book is there's a rainbow, because there's always hope in a rainbow. And so, but the concepts are 30 of life's greatest lessons packed in this 3-book series. When you talk about the best of being, it is about being brave, being yourself. The first one is about basic concepts, planting seeds of greatness, thinking time, getting your sleep, doing your best. But by the time you get to always remember and never forget, you're talking about forgiveness is free, the power of one, believe in your dreams, those kind of concepts. So they kind of grow up. And so that's why they range from that amount of time. And honestly, every one of the 30 blessings are concepts that have biblical background.
Okay.
I mean, everything in every one of those concepts. And so what happened was I decided to create a workbook. So I literally have a workbook that
Okay.
has and it's already in a church in California, but every concept has about 4 or 5 verses. And then it actually has a thing you could do to reinforce that verse in a Sunday school concept. And then there's a prayer at the end. And
Okay.
so it's been a blessing to be given the gift to actually write the books. And so a lot of the books that I write are based on what I believe the Lord gives me to write.
A lot of educators have said that having a workbook or some sort of companion activity book or something like that with the books is helpful in them actually bringing it into the school, into the curriculum.
Great.
So I'm thinking about something like that myself for,
Yes.
you know, some of my children's books. I just hadn't gotten around to it, but
Yes.
but
And I
now,
just wanna
did you think of it yourself, or did you have someone ask you about the workbook?
No, I just started noticing as I did my regular prayer that, oh my God, there's something about being brave. Oh my God, there's something about the power of one, every concept. And I said, let me start looking into it. And I did like 3 different lessons, and it was a direct correlation. So I went straight to my pastor and I said, what about this concept? If I put something like this together, would you test it in your Sunday school program? And of course she loved it. And I say, of course she loved it, because who wouldn't want to get this down in their youth heart? And so she agreed to do it. And so as I began to write, I was blessed because of all the scriptures you found. And that's the thing about revisiting the greatest lessons in life, that you can remember how great they are. And also a lot of adults didn't get those lessons, and they can revisit them as well. Especially those scriptures that, we have to hide in our heart, so that's what I ended up doing. And I just want to, before it gets too late, I just want to thank you, Miss Gwen, because, I'm sure I wasn't the best registrant.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Because I kind of missed the deadline and all that. But I just want to thank you for what you have put together, this opportunity for authors to get together, and all of us that, that really have a hard time getting the word out. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity and the space that you have provided.
Oh, well, you're welcome. But, one of the challenges that we have every year, and I'll say I have specifically, is that encountering authors who just refuse to read the emails that I send.
Yeah, because I think I sent one email to you and I said, never mind, I read it.
But you are not alone. I want you to know that you are not alone at all, Okay. And I try to give people all the information that they need. And I know sometimes it's a lot, it is a long email. I try to put all of the relevant, important things in one email, so it will be in one place, so you don't have to look through 5 different emails to find the important things.
You did.
So but it can be long, and I know with the email, people say, okay, I'll get to it later, and you just get busy. Everybody is busy. So and then they ask me a question that's in there, and I'll normally will say, it's in the email that I sent that says, please read carefully. Go to that.
Understood.
Search for Please Read Carefully. It's in there. But you know, some people have an assignment that works for them and they're able to do it.
Amen.
And that's one of my strengths is
Beautiful.
execution and administration, and
That's
also
wonderful.
marketing. I'm good at marketing as well.
I'm looking forward to learning quite a bit myself.
There are some people, and I have an amazing team. That's what the team that we have for the festival and for this show. We have amazing people that work with us. So it may seem, I think we make it seem like it's easy, because sometimes people will say, well, I want to do something like this in my city or wherever. And how do you do it? Well, you start with 25 years of experience and exposure to thousands of authors. That's something you build over time. It's not something you can just say, okay, up and do, because it's just years and years and years and years of work. But it's something that's needed. It helps so many people. There's so many relationships that are formed, and you'll see there's so many people you will meet, and I find it very gratifying that people get together, and then after the festival, I see they post pictures that they did some other things together. They work together because they met some people who were like-minded with similar goals.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. It's all about connections and networking. And many of the people that I've met at the conference, I'm still in touch with today. And we don't just get in touch just to sell each other something. We get in touch. Hello, how you doing? How can I support you? Blah, blah, blah.
That's wonderful.
And collaborate. There's a lot of collaborating.
Good.
So we only have 2 minutes left, and we want to make sure people know how to get your books. And also, you're going to be in Houston in 3 weeks at the National Black Book Festival. But tell people how they can get your books. And are they in your name, or are they in your website and Amazon?
Yes,
wherever
my name is Elena Neely, and I am on Amazon, and I have my own site called Blessings for Living. Now, again, that's BLESSONS, because I put the word blessing and lesson together. But on Amazon, all the books are there. The workbook is there, and on my site as well. And you can learn more about the author and the illustrator, etc. But I would love to share this one thing about the lessons, and now in with that. And that is, a blessing is a lesson shared. It's a blessing to share. It's a blessing to care. Always remember and never forget that blessings flow to help you grow. Oh, what a blessing it is.
That is beautiful, and a great way to end this segment. We did put your link in the chat, and Tony Bonita has already ordered your books.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for sharing your stories and for what you were doing for children's authors.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll see you in Houston.
Okay, yeah, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye, good night. Okay, that was Elena Neely, and she's a children's author, and she does lessons in her books for children. So if you were here at the beginning of the show, or you may have seen our video on social media about the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Box. It's a subscription service that's monthly, and you get to select African-American children's books every month. And it starts off with a starter pack that has the Black Authors Matter t-shirt in the children's size. There's a Black Authors Matter box, and we showed the video. So, okay, from time to time, we're going to have some of the authors whose books are included in the inaugural edition of the subscription service. And we have one of those with us tonight, and his name is Derrick Washington. So Derrick's book, A Special Little Girl, is in the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Box project. So we welcome you, Derrick, to Black Authors Matter TV. And if you can unmute, or you unmuted, very good.
Thank you so much. How's it going?
Oh, great. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
See you again, Derrick.
Hey, Dr. Rhonda. Good to see your face in the place.
Right. Well, good to see you here. First of all, you're in for a treat. I love his books.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
You have a book called A Special Little Girl. And I was telling the audience that we started a new project called the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Box. And your book is included as one of the books in the inaugural edition that people can select from. And you have more than one book, but the book, A Special Little Girl, that one is the one that's in there. So tell us first, when did you start writing children's books? It's not something common for men as much as it is for women.
Yeah.
So what made you write a children's book?
So I wrote my first book in 2020 after the senseless killing of George Floyd. I tell people all the time, and Dr. Rhonda, I'm sorry you got to listen to this again, but I tell people all the time that I didn't set out to be a children's book author. That was not my intention. Like so many other people in 2020, we were dealing with the pandemic, and then George Floyd happened. And so I really sat down and began to kind of reconcile my emotions and thoughts around that incident. Certainly it was not the first time that, a Black person had been killed, or a person of color had been killed by police officers unjustly. But for some reason, it really, it affected me significantly to the point that, like I said, I sat down and began to compile my thoughts. I thought about my nephew, who was born about 6 months prior to the incident. And I began to think about, like, what will life look like for him in the next 15, 20 years? Will society continue to see him based on the color of his skin? Or will they actually acknowledge who he is as a person, as an individual, and all of his greatness and what he brings to the earth? And so I sat down and wrote my thoughts, read the book, morphed into a poem, and then I read it to my sister the next day because it was dedicated to my nephew, KJ. Read it to her the next day, and she said, "You absolutely need to turn this into a children's book." And I'm like, "No, I'm not even trying to do that. I don't know the first thing about publishing. Never had an interest in writing at all. As a matter of fact, I did not like English in class. So, I mean, in high school. So, read it to her. She said, "You need to turn it into a children's book." I ended up reading it to a few other friends, and they kind of confirmed what she said. And fortunately enough, I had a friend that had written a book maybe a couple of years prior. And so I asked that she would introduce me to her publisher. She did that. And honestly, I don't have the traditional author's journey. I didn't have any type of marketing strategy, none of that stuff established prior to writing the book. But the book was written, illustrated. I found an illustrator who actually illustrated both of my books through Facebook. It was written, illustrated, and published in 30 days. And I know that is really unheard of in this space. And so I just credit that to being, an ordained moment. And so that's kind of how I started writing. It wasn't until I wrote my second book that I realized that, okay, you're an author now. You're doing it. You're really thriving in this space. But my first book, Attorney Ben Crump got wind of it. He pushed and promoted the book through his platform. Prince Jackson, who's Michael, onto it somehow, and he allowed me to take over his social media space. And really, the rest is history.
You created a story that resonated with a lot of people at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And you had already touched on it. I was going to ask, because it's one thing to write a book, but I think once people started getting wind of this, you started to be more intentional about the way that you were promoting the book.
That's right. That's right. A lot of the, as you mentioned, it got a lot of press around it, and I began to speak at a lot of schools, and really through those speaking engagements, found that the book was being used as a tool to initiate conversations around policing in communities of color. How do you communicate the message to your 5 or 6 year old who's now asking questions, or even let's take it up to 8 to 10-year-old, and maybe older, who's asking questions around like, mom or dad, why is this happening to people that look like me? And so the book has been used as a resource to, like I said, initiate those types of conversations. And so I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity, and grateful that it's being used as a tool.
So that's from the book Son, You Matter. Is that the one you're talking?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of that one?
I do.
Okay.
Right here.
Oh, put that one close to you. That one, you need to put it close to your body.
There you
That's
go.
there you go. Okay, that's really nice. So yeah, the fact that you were able to get it done quickly allowed you to tap into the moment
Mhm.
that America was experiencing.
Yes.
So much happened in 2020. I mean, the two pivotal things that will be, it's kind of like 9/11, but I mean, when you say George Floyd, you don't have to say anything else. It's like that, you know. And then COVID, of course, that
Right.
both of them together. Just some things happen, and it's just so pivotal.
Yes.
So seminal that it's, if you're an adult during that time, especially,
Mhm.
it's really unforgettable. And the thing about the George Floyd situation that was so impactful was the whole thing was videotaped. That's really what just
Mhm.
you saw a murder live, you know. It's just,
Mhm.
and it was a slow murder.
Right.
It wasn't the shooting and the person falls down.
We actually were able to see the entire thing and watch.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And it's totally different from when you hear about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually get to see it. It just hit people in an entirely different way.
Yes. Yes.
It did. And the fact that the officer who was doing it seemed to be so
nonchalant.
Well, not just that, he seemed to be to think that he was really righteous.
Right.
You know, the way he was doing it, it was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and yeah, I'm doing it. I mean, he didn't even have any kind of feelings for George Floyd. He didn't treat him like a human being. Even a dog doesn't get treated like that, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say just the lack of recognition
Empathy,
that this is a human being. This is a life that you are literally just taking away. So yeah, it definitely impacted much of society significantly.
Yeah, he had such a smug look on his face.
He really did. And he had a smug look on his face until they
locked him up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the fact that he thought it was all right, you know. Anyway, you could really, so many things about it. It had so many layers. And the fact that he knew he was being filmed, and he still didn't care.
And so these are the conversations that the book really helps to bring out. And I think that, one thing that I've seen is that a lot of families don't broach this subject, and as it becomes more and more prevalent in society, we're just going to have to begin to have these open conversations around, what does policing in my community look like? What are the injustices that are happening in my community that people are keeping silent? How many lives have been lost through unjust police? These are, again, the types of conversations that we just have to continue to have.
So in that book, what were some of the illustrations, or show us a couple of pages of what you focused on? How did you depict?
So the book is actually written from the perspective of a father and son, a father who loves his son and loves chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.
Okay.
And on a normal day, he is dropped off from school, dropped off at school rather, by his father, who promises him at the end of the day, hey, when I pick you up, we're gonna go into the ice cream parlor and we're gonna get some chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. And so throughout the day, that's all the young man whose name is Ahmad in the story, that's all he's thinking about. He's trying to just go through the day because I got chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream on my mind. And so his father picks him up, something that's not out of the ordinary. They begin to drive, and then the police officer stops them unjustly. And so the father then has to explain this situation while still trying to deal with the emotions and the feelings of a police officer that's, one, talking to him reckless in front of his son, demeaning who he is as a man, and then just the emotions that stem from it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, is this going to be my last day? And I have my son in the car, and is he going to witness this police officer kill me? Those types of things. And so he goes through. I don't want to give the story away because it has a positive message at the end, but it's a very real story. Like this is something that happens in our community, in many communities, on a daily basis, and they don't garner the media attention. They're not videotaped, and so the countless things that happen like this. But like we showed the police officer, and like him putting his hand on the gun. Again, it is really sparking conversation around these things. And the thing that I think that I love about the illustrations in this book, there aren't any faces on any of the characters, and that was intentional. Say it again.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Weren't any faces on it because it could be any of us.
Anybody.
It could be. I wanted the characters to speak to whoever it was that was reading the book, so that they can envision themselves in this instance, and like, what would you feel if you are stopped by a police officer unjustly and your child is in the back seat of the car? And like, so I wanted them to put themselves in the story as well.
That's powerful.
It is. So then after that book, you decided to write a book about a very special girl.
Yes.
So now what made you go in that direction?
So I have a niece. Her name is Zion. She was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder at the age of 4, which is fairly late. She was diagnosed. She is 11 now, thriving and doing well. But in 2022, I went home to visit. I'm from Florida. So I went home to visit my family, which is nothing out of the ordinary. And I attended a gymnastics class with her, where at the end of that class, I literally observed the instructor award every student with like an award at the end of that session, except my niece. Now my niece, being autistic, she may have needed like some additional instructions or a little help, but she was still able to accomplish everything that the instructor asked of her. And so me being an uncle, like a hands-on uncle, that got me heated. And so not just me, but like other parents observed it as well, and they spoke out against it, because literally she was the only person that did not get some sort of award. And so what made matters worse is when we got home, my niece was not incredibly able to articulate her emotions. She's certainly verbal, but like the way that she communicates her emotions is through like cartoons or videos or what have you. And so she began to replay this cartoon over and over, which literally talked about how bad it feels to be left out. And that thing broke my heart. It tore me to pieces, so much so that I ended up staying up the majority of that night researching organizations that focus on supporting children that have autism, specifically children of color, and found that there weren't many organizations. Actually, I found 2. That focus on working with children of color. One was in Detroit, amazing organization, and then one was a more consulting type agency at the time. They've morphed into a nonprofit, but they're based in Florida. And so I begin to read up on that and how there are so many disparities in our community about people being diagnosed, children of color being diagnosed later in life than their white counterparts. And so I began to do that research, but more than just doing the research, I wanted to really write an affirmation to my niece to let her know, I don't care what nobody else says. I don't care if they don't ever acknowledge you. Know that your family loves you. We see you, we value you, and that you are indeed a special individual. And so that's kind of how the book was birthed. It was, again, not something that I set out to do, but what I've learned in this author space is that my books are written based on real life events and how they impact me. And like I've sat down and I've literally tried to write stories and it just won't flow. But the moment that these instances happen, I tell you, I wrote both books in less than 2 hours because they were that impactful to me. Whereas like when I sit down and try to write stuff, it's like, okay, well, now this don't make sense. This doesn't, like that type of thing. And so, yeah, that's how A Special Little Girl was birthed. And it has taken off and people are using it as well as a resource and tool, the number of different speaking events, and it has garnered some international press as well. And so just yeah, really excited and again, very fortunate and blessed to be able to be used as a vehicle to write these books.
And I want to make sure that everybody heard, you didn't write these books because of your own children.
No, that's right. This is my niece. My niece,
you don't
my
even
nephew.
have children, if I remember correctly.
Yep, I have no kids. I have tons of God kids, but no children of my own. And like I tell people that I have worked in the nonprofit space for the bulk of my career, over 17 years in the nonprofit space and human services. And I feel like I am called, I did kind of an interview earlier today, but I feel like I am really called to those that are quote unquote historically forgotten. Society likes to dictate or try to dictate to us who we are or who they think we should be. And I feel like we have to take that narrative back and really control. No, you're not going to tell me that I am a thug. I think in 2020, we had a president that was calling our people thugs and all of these types of names. And so we have to, again, take that narrative back. No, I'm not a thug. I am a man of worth. I am incredibly intelligent. I'm articulate. Like, I think we just have to be able to affirm our children. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I guess the perspective that I take in my writing.
Beautiful. So what's next for you? I mean, because you have built a powerful platform. What do you plan to do next?
Yeah, so great question. So after I released A Special Little Girl, I wanted to build upon that and just to work around mental health, around individuals with developmental disabilities and autism. And so I launched a foundation called Friends of Zion. Zion, again, named after my niece. So it's Friends of Zion. And we focus on conducting research and providing resources to children of color and their families who have been diagnosed with autism or other neurodiverse disorders. And so we support people all across this country. While our base is in the DC area, but we make calls and connect folks to resources all across the country. And so that's one thing. I'm also the executive director of an organization called Art Stream. And it's an absolutely amazing organization that focuses on working with folks with IDDs and autism and helping and using theater and the arts to help them develop social skills and really engage with the world. And so I'm really excited about that venture. In the literary space, I've launched a YouTube series called Storytime with Uncle Kobe. which is what my niece and nephew call me, and my god kids. Storytime with Uncle Kobe is really an opportunity for us to feature not only my writing or my books, but authors of color, independent authors of color. And so I recorded my first season last, probably around March. And so we had 10 episodes. You can check them out on my YouTube channel. And we're preparing to record the second season of Storytime with Uncle Kobe. It's going to be bigger and better. And so I did this, it really blew my mind. I did this campaign through Facebook where I asked if there were any independent authors of color that were children's book authors. And I asked them to submit their books for consideration for our second season. Now, I haven't written a book in a while, so I featured both of my books on my first season. So I'm not going to do the same for this season, unless I write a book in a few weeks. But
it's possible.
It is possible. Stranger things have happened, right? But I through that campaign, I received over 100, well over 100 submissions from people all across this country that are children's book authors, and just the caliber of writing, of books that I've received, I've just been amazed because I can remember growing up, there were no books, at least that I can recall, written by people of color for children. And so like to know that there are tons of authors in this space that are really writing incredible books is just absolutely amazing. So those are things that I'm working on. I got some shelves of books written out, but we're gonna see if they pan out, they make it to the printer.
Have you connected with Micah's Voice?
Say it again.
Have you connected with Micah's Voice?
I have not.
Oh, that is an organization that was started by Sean Stockman.
Okay.
From Boys to Men, and he created the foundation because his son had autism. So it might be another organization you might want to reach out to.
Absolutely. We did our inaugural, we call it Friends of Zion Honors, where we honor individuals for their philanthropic efforts, specifically in maybe in mental health or just in this space. And so we honored Tracy Braxton our first year, Joe Barksdale, who is a former NFL player who actually was diagnosed with autism, I think at age 30.
At 30?
Yeah, he was diagnosed. So that's the thing that we're seeing is like a lot of adults.
That breaks my heart though, because at 30 years old, he probably grew up thinking that he wasn't as smart as the others, or that he was always being treated differently. And so something like that changes your life.
Yes, he has an amazing story. I think anybody that's watching, I absolutely encourage you to check out Joe Barksdale's story. But he was married, I believe, and was really thinking through like, why am I, why am I doing some of the things that I'm doing? Why am I not communicating in a manner that my partner, my wife understands? And I think there were some issues there, and which prompted him to go get tested, and then he found out that he had autism. So it's amazing, but we're hearing of more and more stories like that where people are diagnosed even in adulthood. And so we honored those two individuals. We also honored Rasby, and then some of the Rasby from B2K, and then some of the other local community areas. And so we'll continue to do that. It's just a way to generate awareness of our organization and really magnify the platform that some of these incredible individuals are on, and the causes that they are championing.
And we're gonna need to talk because you need to be part of my Black History Month event.
I'm with it, Dr. Rhonda. Let me know. Let me know. I missed the.
Gwen, he just lived right down the street. Right?
I know. That's what when he said he was in the DC area. I said, have you all already connected, or you just meeting him for the first time on the show?
Oh no, we connected.
Because he was on my show. But
okay.
Did we had a chance to meet face to face?
Yeah, we met. I think we met at the Black Authors Matter tour that happened in February. I think that's where we met.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's exactly where we met.
Okay.
That was the one that the guy did.
Nico.
Yes, Nico.
Mhm.
I hate I'm gonna miss yours, Miss Gwen. I
Well-
waited to the last minute to sign up. Let's try to sign
Well,
up.
well, mark your calendar for next year.
I got it. I'm on it.
Early is October 24th through the 26th, 2024. Those are the dates. Because we open our registration in January.
Okay,
And so normally by the end of July, we're sold out.
got you.
And that's pretty much every year.
Mm.
So your book, a special little girl, is included in our Black Authors Matter Children's Book Box subscription service. And so people can select it among the books that they pick,
Yes.
or what we want to do also with the books that are in the service. People can go individually if they see a book that they want and they want it before or in between whatever they get with the book box, they can actually just go directly and buy the books too. So it's a twofold purpose, is to expose and promote some books. When we do the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Awards, we get so many amazing books. So I know what you were talking about when you said you had some submissions that you received. And most of the ones that we got were self-published, which is just really, truly amazing.
Yes.
Because some of them were just beautifully done.
Yes.
Just beautifully
People have
illustrated.
really stepped up their game when it comes
They
to
have.
publishing. I mean,
They have.
sometimes you just cannot tell the difference between self-published and traditionally published. And that's what you should.
Right.
That's
And
right.
then they also focus on some topics that traditional publishers, they just aren't tapped into where people are, you
Mhm.
know. And then with traditional publishing, like you said, you got your book out in 30 days or whatever. It takes 2 years with traditional publishing. So by
Right.
the time the book comes out, the moment has gone.
Yes.
You know, you would have missed the moment had you
Mhm.
waited.
That's right. That's right.
Because you know, those kinds of things, the intensity is short-lived,
Mhm.
you know, and then it starts to wane. And if you're able to have something when people are looking for it, that's, you know, that's where education and opportunity and talent meet all at the same time.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, Derrick, tell people how they can get your books
Okay.
and also about your nonprofit
Yep.
organization.
Sure. So books are available online wherever books are sold. I always encourage people to visit the website, djacobywashington.com. There you can get a signed copy of the book. If you order through Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or any of the other platforms, it won't be signed, but I still urge you to get it. Also, please visit, like, my books is also available in a lot of the local bookstores. And so check with your local bookstore. I always encourage people to go to the bookstore and stop, you know, or especially books, stop ordering on Amazon if you can. So please visit your local bookstore. If it's not there, ask that they get it. And then as far as the foundation, we're at friendsofzion.org, friendsofzion.org. Zion is spelled Z-Y-I-O-N, Zion, friendsofzion.org. And you'll find out all of the information about the foundation, how you can get involved with us. We are absolutely looking for partnerships. We're starting out some great initiatives at the top of the year. And so, yeah, urge you to get involved there. Certainly feel free to follow me on social media. I'm at D Jacoby on Instagram, Derrick Jacoby Washington on Facebook. And I think I'm at I am D Jacoby on, it's not called Twitter anymore, it's called X. So that lets you know how much I'm on there. So I would just follow me on Instagram or Facebook. And then please take advantage of, or please join me, rather, not take advantage, but join me on YouTube for Storytime with Uncle Kobe. I'm at I am DJ Kobe on YouTube as well. It's all about the views, so please share. It's great content to read with your kids before bedtime.
Well, we did put your website as well as the Friends of Zion website in the chat. So everybody, please support these wonderful books and this awesome organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. This is what we're here for.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Derrick, and hope to meet you next year at the festival.
Yes.
And but we'll be in touch with you as we continue the book box subscription process. And we're looking for big things to happen with this. We've the video that we put out on social media has already gotten 20,000 views.
Amazing.
So yeah, so hopefully we're excited about it. So you'll get updates, and thank you for being included, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. Good to speak with you both. Good to see you, Dr. Rhonda, again. And Ms. Gwen, I look forward to meeting you next year.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Have a great evening.
You all too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we have our final guest, and thank you all for your comments and your feedback. One of the things that he mentioned, and I meant to mention it while he was on, but I saw it recently on video. It wasn't in America. I think it was in England or Germany or somewhere, where somebody was giving awards to some girls. I think they were swimmers. They were athletes. They were young girls. And she put an award, like a medal, around every girl. It was one Black girl in there. And she skipped her and put it on everybody. Who does that? I mean, that's
an excuse for that.
This just
I mean, I'm always interested to hear what people's excuses are for bad behavior.
How would you justify that?
Right.
You know, that's just crazy. And because they couldn't all have gotten first place.
Right.
You know, so that couldn't have been it. But that just, you know, and that kind of thing can really scar a person for life. A child, if that happens, that's the kind of thing they never forget. Well, our final guest is Shenitha Burton, and she's with She Publishing LLC. Now, the name on the Zoom wasn't Shenitha, so I'm assuming this is her. So anyway, we'll find out in a minute. Yes, it is. Okay.
That's her mom.
Oh yeah, her audio.
Shenitha, is that your mom?
Oh my goodness. It sure is.
I wasn't for sure if this was you, but I figured it was.
Yes. Sorry, ladies. Look, let's change that.
No, but that's okay. Just welcome back. Shenitha is no stranger to Black Authors Matter TV. And this year at the National Black Book Festival, Shenitha and her company, She Publishing LLC, they're sponsors this year. And she's bringing 8 authors, I believe, with her to the event. And last year, they were all over the place. They were really engaged. So we look forward to having them back. Now, are the people who came with you last year coming, or you have some new people, or is it a mixture?
It's a mixture.
Okay. All right. Well, we are looking forward to it. And we thank you for your sponsorship and support. And we've kind of seen you grow as we were first introduced to you. And now, how many authors do you have under your umbrella now?
A lot.
I think it's I know. Look, first of all, thank you guys for having me. Black Authors Matter TV, BAM, shout out to you guys. You are doing an amazing job. Number one, I love the relationship that I am building with you guys, because that's what it's about, you know, building relationships and building trust and working together. So I love that. And I love you guys, and I love Rhonda too, you know. But yeah, I think I forgot the question, you guys, but what was the question?
I forgot what I asked you.
Oh,
How many authors do you have?
yeah, how many authors?
How many
Yeah,
authors under your umbrella? That's what
it's about 50.
Thank you, Rhonda. How
It's
many?
about 50.
50. Wow. Wow. Because
Yeah.
when you first came on the show, I think you had like a dozen or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You
So, and I
know,
think that was maybe 3 years ago. Well,
yes,
I
it was.
think you were on the first year that we had the show. This is year number 3. And we've, well, close to 3.5. And we're getting close to 600 guests, Rhonda. I wanted to tell you that. We've had 500, we're over 550. So we're gonna be, I don't know which month we'll do 600, but that's gonna be an amazing accomplishment. And also the National Black Book Festival, our Facebook page audience is really, really, really growing. And we have 92,000 followers, and it's going faster. Like we were growing, and now we're going faster. The more people we get, the more people we get. So
Amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
I
3
believe
years.
it was about 80,000
yeah,
when we first started doing this.
so,
So
right,
that's big growth.
right. So now we have 92,000 followers.
Wait, so Black Authors Matters have been in for 3 years. You've been doing this for 3 years?
Well, the show, but our Facebook page for the festival, we've had that for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
But we
Okay.
started off with, 25 or 30,000, like the first 4 or 5 years that's where we were, and then it just has grown and grown and grown. But I let people know you have to invest in your following. You have to pay Facebook. That's what I mean, to build it. Now, if you already have people and you have good content, which we do, and we have lots of content because of the show and just all the stuff that we're doing, that helps because people want to follow somebody who's doing something, and we have new posts every day almost. But our shows and our like we'll take one guest and we'll make it the interview of the week. Those get thousands of views. So and some really get traction.
Well, you
So
know what? This is a milestone for the both of us, the show and
yeah.
us, because we're both 3 years old.
Okay,
And
I knew
so
you were just getting started when we had, and I can't remember how we heard about you or how you heard about us. I don't remember.
I can tell you,
Oh, you can?
one
Okay.
of my authors told me about you guys.
Oh, okay.
And that's just how it's been.
Okay.
The author family that we have, they share information, and that's what it's about, sharing information so you can get it out to everyone. So if it had not been for her, and she is actually the second author that I published. Okay. So
wow,
that's huge for me, and she will be there actually this year
okay,
for the first time, and she told me about you guys.
okay.
So if it, there's no she without them, there's no she without the family, y'all. Okay.
Okay. And you don't just sign female authors either. You have male
Absolutely.
authors under your umbrella too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have some incredible stories, y'all. So we definitely have the Men of She. They're going to be hosting our
the
annual
Men of
event this
She.
year. The Men of She.
The Men of She. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
So are most of your books that you publish, are they personal stories?
Yeah, I would definitely say the majority of them are. And I'm almost starting to get into the spiritual. Like it's almost like a Christian it's turning into a Christian publishing company, because I'm starting to get the balance of memoirs and Christian books.
Okay.
I think God is trying to tell me something, y'all. But
That's
I mean,
message to you, Shenitha.
I'm just saying, it's a true blessing. It's unbelievable, seriously.
Yeah. Now, are you doing this full time, or you're still juggling
Yeah.
the job and the publishing?
Yeah. I run the operations of a federal courthouse during the day.
Okay.
And from 9 to 5, I'm doing that. And from 5 to 9, I'm having fun, y'all, with this publishing game.
So when do you sleep?
I don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Somewhere
sleep.
between 3 and 4 o'clock, maybe.
I'm just saying, you know, I take naps. That's why it's important to take naps and drink water.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
you look
so
well rested.
look,
So,
I'm literally just getting off of a call with
okay.
one of our newly published authors.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, just tell people a little bit about your involvement with the festival and why you decided that this year you wanted to be a sponsor.
Oh, yeah. So again, building relationships is huge. Being supportive is huge. You have to invest, like you said, you have to invest in your friend, in your friends, in your family, and the people that you want to connect with. And this is about showing support. Number one, I believe in what you guys are doing. You have amazing interviews. You have some amazing authors that you are interviewing all over the world. When we came to Houston last time, we built a lot of relationships. We've actually signed about 3 or 4 people that we met from the festival.
Okay.
You know,
Great.
it's even the marketability part of it. One of the things is, yes, we want to sell books and it's about selling books, but it's also about building relationships, you guys. Seriously, the relationships that I've built, I didn't know I would be collaborating with these authors that we met there. I mean, we were able to take pictures with celebrities. Now, look, we was posting that all day long, you know. So, you know, we can build marketing material from coming here. We can build relationships with others. And I don't know if people may understand that, but we do. We do over here. We bring in actually 9 authors with us. And because we have 2 authors that wanted to collaborate and share a
Okay.
table. But yeah, we're coming back to support. We love what you guys are doing. Number one, I get a chance to go to Houston, Texas, because what is it, the Taste of Texas? We gotta go back there, y'all. I love to eat. Okay,
We have
so
some amazing food.
Well,
yes,
you know what we have to do, Shenitha, is I didn't get a chance to go to the turkey leg hut. So we got to make sure we go there. So make sure you
okay.
get there early enough on that Thursday so we can go out there, because they have the turkey that's supposed to be so good it just falls off the bone.
Oh, come on now, come
Now there's
on.
a new restaurant that we went to called the Warwick. Now it's more of it's kind of upscale. Black owned, and there we went there. My husband and I went there for brunch a couple of Sundays ago, and the food was very, very good, and it's very, very nice restaurant. So it's near the Galleria,
Okay, well, we definitely
and
gotta go
so
there.
put that down on your list. So
Look, I got my pen, y'all. I'm
okay,
taking
all right,
notes.
but you probably need to make a reservation because they
Okay.
do have a very strong clientele, and so it's a pretty large place, but they have a lot of customers. So just keep that in mind. And you can go
Okay.
on Facebook and look at the pictures of some of their food, and it does taste good. I had some shrimp and grits, and it was comparable to one of the other best ones I've eaten. And I tried shrimp and grits at different places just to see what people do with it, and
Okay.
theirs was really, really good.
Well, look, I'm gonna hold you to that, Gwen. Now, if I
Okay.
come and it ain't what you're saying it is,
No, their food was good. Their food and the service was good too. And this year for the reception, we're gonna have boudin balls as part of one of the things that people are eating for dinner, like at the buffet. They had the chef that he does all the food for the church and the school. The chef, he's actually one of the elders of the church, but he's a chef. And they had some boudin balls for the church anniversary. They were delicious. And so I asked him Sunday, can we have the boudin balls? And he said yes. So they were really, really good. So it's a lot of our food is Louisiana food too, because so many, like half of Louisiana moved to Houston.
right? And the cakes, you gotta have the desserts. You're gonna have them good desserts, right?
Oh, we have the best food. And
Okay.
for the price, Houston has some, I say it's the best, but I've eaten all over the country. For the price, we
Yes.
have some of the best food. I'll say that because I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody else, but we have some serious food in Houston. Restaurants everywhere, and the food is good.
Yeah, now look, I am from Chi-Town, so
Now,
you know
when I went to Chicago, I ate some good food.
okay,
So
yeah, it's
I
good.
say that I like the Chicago pizza. It's a little different.
Say a good Chicago deep dish. You think?
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
yeah. So yeah, Chicago actually had good. I was surprised. Just because a lot of times big city, in big cities, the food can be expensive.
Right.
And
It
the
is
portions are
expensive.
small. The portions, the portions shrink. The further north you go, the portions shrink, and the price goes up. And by
It's
the
the
time you get
truth.
to New York, you get like for $70 these little small portions. So
It's the
anyway,
truth.
it's true. And the food that we have here, you can take it home and eat another meal. They give you a big portion where it's lots of food. It's really good. So anyway, I'm not trying to make the audience hungry by talking about food, but
Well,
when you all come,
go get dinner.
It's too late for that.
but when you all come, I want, I was just, because I may not remember to tell you,
Yeah.
as we get closer, because, it's crazy at the event. I don't get to attend. By the time Friday comes, I'm tired. And by the time Saturday comes, I'm totally exhausted. So my brain is like on like 20%, like a cell phone that's like doesn't have that much left on it. That's
Look, I understand you're planning this huge event. Like anybody who's planning an event, they know you tired before it even starts.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Because you don't get that much sleep.
It's like you're tired because you have an event coming up, right?
Oh my God, yes.
Now,
Yes.
is your event before or after the festival?
Before.
Okay, so now tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's the 3rd annual She Conference and Networking Convention. This year it's the Shades of Blue and Gold Authors Gala. That's the theme. And actually, I came up with that theme. The authors inspire me. So there's a number of different authors who inspired me, but I will let you in on a secret of one author. Her book cover was so beautiful that I had to have gold a part of the gala this year.
Oh.
This is Unmasked. This is the hardcover and the paperback. And another author that inspired this theme his name is Jonathan Jefferson, Peppermint and Roses. So we don't have Peppermint and Roses for the VIP guests, but yeah, we're bringing authors together. It's an appreciation to all of our authors. So we throw this event for them every year. They come free every year to eat, hear music, poetry readings, and we are this year bringing resources to them. So editors, graphic designers, branding, brand masters. So we want to bring these resources to them, but we also want to show our appreciation for them signing with She. So we give out awards, bestseller, triple threat award for those who have published 3 books with us. We actually have someone who's published 6 books with us. And we're going to have an Emmy-nominated film producer. He's our keynote speaker. His name is John Ross. He has produced movies for Denzel Washington, Will Smith. He's been part of the barbershop team. What just
meeting all these people?
Look, I know. And then we're gonna have the Tesla team there. So we're collaborating with Tesla this year, and we are giving away 1 or 2 Teslas for the weekend. And hey, the authors need to ride in style, you know what I'm saying?
Oh. Now is this in Chicago? Is it going to be in Chicago?
The Chicagoland area, Orland Park is where it is, but definitely the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm super excited about this event, you guys. And I'm like, if you guys' event is the same weekend, we're gonna have a problem. Okay. So I gotta talk to you well in advance, okay? Because
you mean for next year?
Yeah, we got
I can tell you the dates already.
What's the dates?
We have our, because, you know, we plan a year and a half in advance. So October,
Wow.
we have to, October 24th through the 26th.
Okay, thank
Those
you.
are the dates next year. And see, we have to do that. For one, I'm anal about long-term planning, but also we have to make sure we get on the church calendar in the building before anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we plan it. They love the fact that the festival is there. And they have a huge event on Halloween called Jesus Fest every year, where they have like 500 kids with, you know, coming. And I volunteered there several times, but that's always on
Wow.
on Halloween night. So if Halloween falls on a weekend, then we have to pick the weekend before. So, and we already know that.
Okay.
So we just like to get on the church calendar before anybody else does. So that way we're locked in.
Okay. Okay. Now I know.
Okay. So now you can plan around that. I can probably give you the date for 2025 too, but I have to look at the calendar. I haven't looked at that. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Okay.
So, well, we plan
Last
here.
weekend in October. Well, the last weekend in October?
Yeah, ours is the last weekend in October, unless
Right.
Halloween falls on the last weekend. Then we have to
Okay.
move it to the weekend before, because that big event that they have is huge.
Yeah, well, we plan to continue to come to your event. We plan to come to DC though. We love DC as well.
Good
For
time
the
here. Shenitha brought her authors for the Black History Month Literary Weekend this past February. And
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to plan. I'm gonna come to the Black History Month weekend thing next year.
so
oh my
yeah,
gosh, you
2024.
gotta come.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. So I'm
Yeah,
telling you
it's
that right now.
amazing.
Yeah, because I need to do that. I need to go to some other events, because I have my vacation that I've decided I have to have at least a 10-day vacation every year. I have to do that just for my sanity. But you know, and just to rest and relax and enjoy life. But I need
Exactly.
to go to some book events that are outside of my area, because I go to the ones that are here locally, but I need to go to some other ones just to see, you know, to support, to see, you know, you can pick up ideas anywhere, you know, and
Mhm.
sometimes something that somebody's doing, you know, I wouldn't, you know, exactly duplicate it, but you can get ideas from just anything, even the way a program is set up, you know, or anything you can get, and you just get to meet people and network. So
Yeah.
the
Look, I
last
just
out of
gotta
town
tell
thing I
you.
did was with you, Rhonda, in Philly, that at the convention. That was last year.
yeah.
See, let me
And that
tell you.
wasn't really a book event, but
Well, Rhonda, she's definitely giving you an experience, because I didn't know that when we got off the plane, we was going to a school to speak. So we all in the car changing our clothes, me and Sharcia, changing our clothes, trying to figure out what we talking about. And we get there and it was just amazing. So we had an amazing experience there as well. And that's why we continue to go.
Yes.
We will continue to support Rhonda as well.
so Rhonda, which year is this for you for your Black History event?
This is oh shoot, it's at the 7th or the 8th. We started
Okay, so it's been that long. Okay.
Wow.
right.
And when
So,
you did it virtually during COVID.
right, I did it virtually in
'Cause I-
2021. In 2022, I just did a scaled down version of it.
Okay.
In 2023, we did the whole thing.
Mhm.
We'll be doing the same thing this year. You know, it changes up a little bit, but for the most part, we always have the jazz brunch. We always do the school visits, and we always have the essay contest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great. I'm telling you, the group we had in 2023 was just amazing and supportive. And we wound up actually having 3 schools to visit. So Shenitha visited the first school. That was on that Thursday. And it's funny because
Yeah,
I that one until I was on the way to pick y'all up.
I know. Yeah, because we found out when we got off the airplane. We like,
Y'all feel like going to
okay.
school? We might have to take y'all back there though, because I saw the pictures and the kids seem to love you guys.
You know, it's so rewarding to give back. Like when you're not just thinking selling a book, you know, it's a story that you're trying to share, you know, and it was just so rewarding to give back to those babies, and then the high schoolers, the people who want to write books and want to be journalists and different things like that. You never know what you can say or do, or you look like somebody, how you can inspire them.
Yes, because people who come to the festival, they'll tell me, you know, I came and that inspired me to get started writing my book. And then they tell me they wrote it and finished it and published it, which they wouldn't have done had they not gotten that inspiration. And this year, one of the suburban school districts, they are bringing 50 families to the festival on Saturday.
Wow.
The district is paying for all the transportation and all of that. So they were going to bring 50 kids, and then they asked us, well, what about the family? So the parents can come too. And I said, great. And then they put the information out throughout the district about the event to invite people to come. And that's free publicity that, you know, money can't buy, because then you're sanctioned by the district, you know? So that's an exciting development for this year.
Wow. Yeah, everybody's asking for, are you going to have Omarion again?
No, we don't have the same people. We
know. I know.
Well, I take that back. Sometimes we have the only people that repeat kind of regularly are Rashonda Tate Billingsley and Victoria Christopher Murray, because they've been with the festival from day one, like from the very first year. And this is year 16. They haven't been at every festival, but I say out of 16, they've been at least 11 or 12.
Wow.
So they're the only, and they have their careers kind of took off at the same time the festival got started. Wow. So we do have them come back. They'll probably be here next year, because this year they had already planned a international trip. They are on those dates. They already had scheduled it, so they weren't able to come. But
it's in Houston, like the home of Beyonce, though.
Yeah.
So what? When's she coming through there?
Well, I don't think she has a book, but her dad has been to a couple of them. Matthew Notes, her dad that managed her. He's an author. So
I don't think the church is big enough where Beyonce decides to come out.
No, it would not be. People will be camped out for a week.
That's a pretty huge church, though. That cathedral,
not big enough.
Building.
Not big enough for
Man.
Well, Shenitha, let people know how they can get in touch with She Publishing. Yeah, the name is on the screen, but just give them, the social media platforms that you're on and the website, and just tell them, well, I'll tell them she's going to be at the festival in the house with many of her authors. We can't wait to see them.
Yes, and the website, you guys, is www.shepublishingllc.com. And we're on Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to give us a call, 219-515-8032. If you're thinking about reading a book, writing a book, anything that got to do with a book, give us a call. Okay. So thank you guys for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And you know, what I really liked about your authors last year, they were all so upbeat and positive and excited, you know? And that is infectious.
Yes.
I mean, when I was tired, I just passed by your table because y'all kept me smiling.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, really great. It was really, really great.
Thank you, guys.
And you're going to be participating on the publishers panel we're having. We have 5 publishers that'll be participating on that panel.
I'm excited about that. The last year, it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and that's what I love.
Facilitate again.
Yes, that's what I love. It's like we're all publishers and we're sharing information and we are supportive. There's no competition in this.
Right.
You know, it's collaboration.
Right. Because everybody has their own niche. You know, people are doing different things. So it's helpful to support each other, because 2 is better than 1. And if you work together, in unity, you can accomplish a lot more, a lot quicker.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, Shenitha, I did put your website in the chat, so people will be able to
Thank
follow you and find you. And are all of your social media handles on the website as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for having me.
Okay, and thank you, and we'll see you in 3 weeks at the festival.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's the end of our show, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday with another amazing episode of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson signing off.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a great evening and a wonderful week.
Thank you for tuning in, and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.